Hello, my name is Douglas Bloch. I'm an author and depression survivor. Welcome to your Depression Recovery channel, where each week we talk about practical tools and coping strategies for healing from depression and anxiety. This week's video is called, Are You Anxious? Take this test and find out. And before we answer that question, I'm going to start with my new ritual of telling something funny. I saw a t-shirt the other day that had 3 lines on it. The first line read, "Let's go eat Grandma." The second line read, "Let's go eat, Grandma." And the third line read, "Commas save lives." Right, so now we're going to talk about anxiety. And before we basically can answer the question about, am I anxious? We have to know what anxiety are we talking about, because there are actually 7 different anxiety disorders that have been identified by the psychiatric profession. This is why anxiety disorders are the most common disorders in the world. America alone, 55 million people with anxiety disorders. So some of them are, you've heard, panic disorder, social anxiety disorder, post-traumatic stress disorder, OCD, and agoraphobia, and finally, generalized anxiety disorder, or GAD, and that's what we're going to talk about today. We're doing so because by far, it is the most common disorder out there. In fact, a recent study showed that 85% of people who suffer from depression also suffer from generalized anxiety disorder. And because these 2 conditions so often occur together, they've been called the fraternal twins of mood disorders. Believed to be caused in part by malfunction of brain chemistry, generalized anxiety disorder is not like the normal anxiety you would feel before taking a test or maybe giving a talk. People who suffer from anxiety suffer from what Franklin D. Roosevelt called fear itself. Somehow, in a way not understood, the fight or flight mechanism gets activated and a person feels like they're threatened even though no real threat exists. So you can say that being chronically anxious is like being stalked by an imaginary tiger. No matter how much you try to assure yourself that things are okay, you always feel in danger. So, to answer the question, am I anxious or do I have generalized anxiety disorder, I'm going to ask you a series of simple yes or no questions. When you hear them, write down Y for yes or N for no. If you want to now, you can get a piece of paper and pause the video. So when you come back, you'll be ready to go. You can also write these notes on your phone. And at the end of the questions, I'll tell you how to score the test. So here's the first question. Question 1. Have you been experiencing excessive anxiety or worry more days than not for at least 6 months? Now, when we did the depression test, we said that the depressive symptoms had to be going on for 2 weeks or longer. But to have a diagnosis of anxiety, it has to be going on at least 6 months or a half a year. So answer that question, yes or no. The second question is, have you had trouble controlling this worry or anxiety? Has it been getting out of hand and so you haven't got a handle on it? Again, yes or no. Now here comes the critical question, question 3. Are your worry and anxiety associated with at least 3 of the following symptoms? I'm going to read 6 to you. And if you have 3 or more, then you're probably going to be diagnosed with GAD. The first one is a general feeling of restlessness or being keyed up or being on edge. The second one is being easily fatigued, tired. The third is difficulty concentrating or having your mind go blank. The fourth is being irritable. The 5th symptom is having muscle tension. And the 6th is sleep disturbances, difficulty falling asleep, or difficulty staying asleep. So to quickly go over them again, number 1 is being restless and keyed up. The number 2 is being easily fatigued. Number 3 is difficulty concentrating or your mind going blank. Number 4 is muscle tension. Number 5 is being irritable. And number 6 is difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep. The next question is, are these symptoms causing you significant distress in your life so they're interfering with your functioning? Specifically, you're working, you're engaging with people, your relationships, friends, family relationships, or any other area of functioning that you can think of that these are getting in the way of. Because, we can all be a little worried, we can all be a little obsessive, but we can still live our lives. But when the symptoms start to kind of cross over and affect our lives and how we're doing, and especially affect our work and our relationships, then it becomes seriously. And finally, are these symptoms, can they be explained by a reaction to a substance like a medication or a drug of abuse, or a medical condition like hyperthyroidism. If they can, then you don't have GAD because it's a medical problem. But if they can't, if it's not a matter of drug abuse or a medication reaction or having hyperthyroidism, if that's not the case, then you definitely have these symptoms explained by being anxious, and especially having generalized anxiety disorder. So, if you have answered yes to these 5 questions, then you are probably one of the tens of millions of people around the world who have generalized anxiety disorder. And by the way, if you want to review the questions very briefly, you can either rewind the video, or in the comments section I have them all 5 written down, plain in sight, so you can read them over. Now, don't worry. That's funny. If someone's anxious, say don't worry. But you shouldn't, because anxiety, like depression, is highly treatable. People get over this all the time, and I've made 2 recent videos that share my insights on how to basically overcome anxiety. The first one is called How to Rewire Your Anxious Brain, and the other is called My Top 5 Strategies for Keeping Anxiety at Bay. And I can give you a preview of those 5 strategies. They're exercise, paced breathing, muscle relaxation, connecting with others, and medications. So if you go ahead on my channel and in the search bar, type in these titles, How to Rewire Your Anxious Brain and My Top 5 Strategies for Keeping Anxiety at Bay. If you type them in, the videos will pop right up and you'll be able to watch them. And one more thing I want to mention, the links to these 2 videos I just described to you, they will be put in the description section right below the image of the video. This has been Douglas Bloch. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you learned something from it. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did so, please give it a like. Otherwise, you can give me feedback by putting your comment in the comments section, or email me, douglasbloch@gmail.com. If you want to subscribe to this channel, which I hope you do, during the closing credits, just click on my photo and you'll be taken to the subscribe page. If you click on my book, Healing from Depression, you'll be taken to my website, healingfromdepression.com, which has a lot more tips on how to heal from depression and anxiety. And if you click on the videos, you can watch those. And until we meet again, I wish you the best in your mental health recovery. Thank you so much.